Despite its name, Fang was an ordinary small town in a northern province of Chiang Mai, situated on the banks of a river. It made a convenient stopover for river traders and passengers throughout most of the year. A few barges, rafts, and sometimes even a large sailboat could usually be found moored at Fang. But all that was long ago, before the creation of the Trial of Champions. Now, once a year, the river is crammed with boats as people arrive from hundreds of miles around, hoping to witness the breaking of an ancient tradition and see a victor in the Trial of Champions.
Hello, monsters abound here, and welcome to Deathtrap Dungeon, the interactive video game. It's pretty interactive. I mean, there's not many options. I would have loved some subtitles. There's no way to reduce the ambient sound in comparison to old Eddie's voice here, but I just roll with it. So this is a fighting fantasy book, or it's a game based on the fighting fantasy book, which, if you've never played one of them before, you might have played something similar. It's basically a book. It gives you options to go to different, it says, do you want to go east? Go to entry 348, or do you want to go west and go to entry 32? That kind of thing. And you bounce around the book as you make your choices, and you come across monsters, and there's dice to roll and all that kind of stuff. So I grew up on the fighting fantasy books. Now I love them, and Deathtrap Dungeon is one of the classic fighting fantasy books. And so I saw this on Steam, and I was instantly like, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Because I am. Because this is fucking amazing. Because we've got Eddie Marsan basically reading the book to us. And look at him there. His face... his face mostly frozen apart from the occasional blinking. I guess he has to blink, otherwise it would look weird. I just love it. He's got a little armchair. That's fucking amazing. I love it. You'll see a fire in the corner there. Obviously not fucking a light. It's just got a light in it. And why the palm trees, guys? What were you thinking? Anyway, the point is Ace. Now Eddie Marsan has been in a shit ton of films. He's a very, very prominent actor. However, I could not pick him out of a lineup, to be honest. I've got a little story about Eddie Marsan, and that is my mother-in-law lives in a little Cornish fishing village on the coast. And one day she was out walking in the village with her partner, and they came across a rocking horse outside a house that had the note on it saying to a good home, free to a good home. She's like, oh, brill. That's the kind of thing, it looks really nice. It's kind of quite quirky. Sure. Knocks on the door, young lad answers. He's all right. And they went, oh, the rocking horse, is that actually free? And he went, yeah. They went, oh, well, we're going on a walk. Would it okay to hold it back and we'll pick it up on our way back? And he went, all right. So they went for the walk. They came back. They knocked on the house. Eddie Marsan answers the door because apparently it's his holiday home. So they now own Eddie Marsan's rocking horse. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, there's a picture of the rocking horse on Twitter, and it's almost certainly haunted and or cursed, and I can't help but feel that Eddie was just getting rid of it to sort of, I don't know, relieve himself of the curse or something. Either way, it looks a bit fucking freaky. But when my wife was regaling me with this story, she said, oh, Eddie Marsan. I was like, I don't know who that is. She went, oh, he's an actor, he's been in these films. And I was like, oh, I've seen some of those. I still have no idea who he is. So she showed me a picture, and I was like, I still have literally no idea who this man is. You are just showing me a picture of a grey-haired man with a beard. I still don't know who the fuck he is. However, I now know who Eddie Marsan is because of this, because I can see him here, and he's reading Deathtrap Dungeon to me. Now, the fighting fantasy books are fucking hard as balls. There are, in some cases, you might suggest that they are a bit brutally unfair. There are so many times where picking the wrong option basically just fucks you over, and there's nothing you can do about it. It doesn't give you, it doesn't suggest that there might be a better option. It's like, oh look, there is a nice glass of water here. Would you like to drink it? And you're like, all right. And it turns out it's acid, and also there's a genie that lived in it, and it's filled with piranhas, and you're dead. Screw you. And then it spits in your face. That's the kind of book that the fighting fantasy are. There's I always remember House of Hell, which is sort of a modern day fighting fantasy where you kind of like end up in like a haunted house filled with vampires and shit. And there's one particular bit later on in the book where there's a kitchen. And if you go into the kitchen, if you pick the option to go into the kitchen, there is no further option that will allow you to survive. You will die there. There's about, I would say, 10 to 15 entries after that you can pick between. Sort of little paths. Every single one of them ends up with you fucked. So basically, if you go into the kitchen, you're dead. That's it. End of story, right? You pick that option, and no matter what you do after that, you are dead. You are gone. End of story. I was playing a game called, I think it's Bloodbones. I was playing on, they've got like an app, a phone app that you can play these books on, and I was playing Bloodbones on that. And of course, in the book, when you're reading the books as a child, you know, it can say, oh, do you have the MacGuffin that you need to win? And you're like, yes, I do. I do. Obviously, with the electronic version, you can't cheat. Now, right at the start of Bloodbones, it gives you the option to go and purchase supplies, and so there's a whole list of things you can buy from. Fair enough. You get to the end of the game, end of the book, and at the end boss, you fight him, and then it goes, do you have this thing that you could have bought at the market? Because if the answer is no, then fuck you. So, that's fun. So it's just that kind of game. So, lots of fun to be had. Now, I love everything about this. Now, unfortunately, Eddie is going to have at the start of all the fighting fantasy books, there's always quite a long blurb about sort of the background, the history, and what we're going to be getting into. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little timestamp in the description. So if you are not interested with the bollocks, like all the wank that's about to spew out of Eddie's mouth, then just skip to the time, and we'll get cracking with the actual fun stuff. However, if you're interested in lore, then we're going to let Eddie sort of crack on about it, because it's quite a long old spiel. Now, I should point out that the actual options for this game, and it is loose, is pretty fucking limited. You can quit or you can reset, and that's it. There's no option to change the volume or like reduce the ambient noise or anything. So there's some bits in this I think are actually quite hard to hear what he's saying, but there's nothing I can do about it. And unfortunately, there's no subtitles either. So sorry about that. Very little I can do about it. Anyway, let's let Eddie kind of crack on, and if you're not interested, you can skip ahead.
On the 1st of May each year, warriors and heroes come to Fang to face the test of their lives. Survival is unlikely, yet many take the risk, for the prize is great. A purse of 10,000 gold pieces and the freedom of Chiang Mai forever. But to become champion is no easy task. Some years ago, a powerful baron of Fang called Sukhumvit decided to bring attention to his town by creating the ultimate contest. With the help of the townspeople, he constructed a labyrinth deep in the hillside behind Fang, from which there was only one exit. The labyrinth was filled with all kinds of deadly tricks and traps and loathsome monsters. Sukhumvit had designed it in meticulous detail, so that anybody hoping to face its challenge would have to use their wits as well as weapon skill. When he was finally satisfied that all was complete, he put his labyrinth to the test. He picked 10 of his finest guards, and fully armed, they marched into the labyrinth. They were never seen again. The tale of the ill-fated guards soon spread throughout the land, and it was then that Sukhumvit announced the first trial of champions. Messengers and news sheets carried his challenge, 10,000 gold pieces and freedom of Chiang Mai forever to any person surviving the perils of the labyrinth of Fang. The first year, 17 brave warriors attempted the walk, as it later became known. Not one reappeared. As the years passed, and the trial of champions continued, it attracted more and more challengers and spectators. Fang prospered, and would prepare itself months in advance for the spectacle it hosted each May. The town would be decorated, tents erected, dining halls built, musicians, dancers, fire-eaters, illusionists, and every sort of entertainer hired, and entries registered from hopeful individuals intent on making the walk. The last week of April found the people of Fang and its visitors in wild celebration. Everybody sang, danced, and laughed until the day broke on the 1st of May, when the town thronged to the gates of the labyrinth to watch the first challenger of the year step forward to face the trial of champions. Having seen one of Sukhumvit's challenges nailed to a tree, you decide that this year you will attempt the walk. For the last 5 years you have been attracted to it not for the rewards, but for the simple fact that nobody has ever yet emerged victorious from the labyrinth. You intend to make this the year in which a champion is crowned. Gathering up a few belongings, you set off immediately. 2 days' walk takes you west to the coast, where you enter the cursed port Black Sand. Wasting no time in that city of thieves, you buy your passage on a small boat sailing north to where the river Coke meets the sea, and from there you raft upriver for 4 days, until finally you arrive in Fang. The trial begins in 3 days' time, and the town is in an almost hysterical mood of excitement. You register your entry with the officials and are given a violet scarf to tie around your arm, informing everyone of your status. For 3 days you enjoy Fang's greatest hospitality and are treated like a demigod. During the long merriment you almost forget your purpose in Fang, but the evening before the trial, the magnitude of the task ahead begins to dominate your thoughts. Later, you are taken to a special guest house and are shown your room. There is a splendid 4-poster bed with satin sheets to help you rest, but there is little time left for sleep. Just before dawn, a trumpet call awakens you from vivid dreams of flaming pits and giant black spiders. Minutes later, there is a knock on your door, and a man's voice rings out saying, "Your challenge begins soon. Please be ready to leave in 10 minutes. You climb out of bed, walk over to the window and open the shutters. Already people are thronging the streets, moving quietly through the morning mist, spectators, no doubt on their way to the labyrinth, hoping to find good vantage points from which to watch the competitors. Walking over to a wooden table on which your trusty sword and shield lie, you pick them up and cut the air with a mighty sweep, wondering which beasts your sword's sharp edge may soon have to meet. You open the door into the corridor, and a small man greets you with a low bow as you emerge from your bedroom. "Please follow me," he says. He turns to his left and walks quickly towards the stairs at the end of the corridor. Walking through a parting in the crowds, you see Baron Sukhumvit himself, standing by the entrance waiting to greet the contender in the trial of champions. You count 5 others standing proudly in line, their violet scarves displayed for all to see. There are 2 bare-chested barbarians dressed in furs. They stand completely motionless, legs straight and slightly apart, arms thrust forward to rest on the hilts of their long, double-headed battle axes. A sleek elven woman with golden hair and feline green eyes is adjusting the crossbelt of daggers wrapped around her leather tunic. Of the 2 remaining men, one is covered from head to foot in iron plate armor, with a plumed helmet and a crested shield. The other is cloaked in black robes, only his dark eyes showing between the swarms of his black-faced scars. Long knives, a wire garrote, and other silent death weapons hang from his belt. The 5 contenders acknowledge your arrival with almost imperceptible nods of the head, and you turn to face the exultant crowd for the last time. Suddenly, a hush falls over the crowd as Baron Sukhumvit steps forward, holding 6 bamboo sticks. You draw one from his outstretched hand, and you read the word, 5th. Then the trial begins. The knight is first. He salutes the crowd before disappearing into the tunnel, and is followed half an hour later by the elf. Next goes a barbarian, and then the dark assassin. Next, it's your turn. But before embarking on your adventure, we must first determine your own strengths and weaknesses. You have in your possession a sword, a shield, and a backpack for carrying provisions for the trip. You have been preparing for your quest by training yourself in swordplay and exercising vigorously. To see how effective your preparations have been, dice will be rolled to determine your skill, stamina, and luck scores. Or, if you wish to begin your adventure immediately, you can choose between 3 ready-made adventurers.
Wow, that was a lot, wasn't it? Goodness me, there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, the first thing I'm thinking, and this is what I thought as a young nipper as well, was, okay, so he's built this labyrinth. Anyone who goes in never comes out. Who the fucking hell cleans it? Like, there's got to be a lot of maintenance going on. Does he just send people in there and hopes for the best? I mean, what the fuck? What? Okay, anyway, Eddie is smiling at me slightly weirdly. I'm going to roll. Let's roll the dice. Let's roll them dice.
First,
Yep.
we'll roll for your initial level of skill.
Skill, yep.
This reflects your sword skill and fighting expertise,
Okay.
and will be determined by rolling 1 die and
Adding
adding
6.
6.
6, yes. Good. There's the dice. Oh. Can I re-roll? Want to re-roll. Oh, for fuck. Fuck, come on. I need at least a 4. Anything higher than 4. Because, fuck, no. Roll. Right. And I'll take a 6, sure. Skill is just...
Next, we'll roll for your initial
Stamina.
which represents your strength. So the higher your stamina score, the longer you will survive.
Good.
This will be determined by rolling 2 dice.
2 dice.
And adding 12.
12, yes. Yeah, skill's one of those things we don't really want below... really? Okay, well, stamina's not as big of a deal. Like, it's useful to have higher, but it's not quite like skill, where I always feel like some of these books, if you have sort of sub 10 skill, you're basically fucked. Like, you're going to have to roll very, very well to actually get through any of the battles. So, stamina, I'll take that. It's a low roll, but I'll take it anyway. We'll continue on to luck, which is...
Next.
1 die plus 6.
We'll roll for your initial luck,
Yes, I know.
which represents how lucky an adventurer you are.
Yep.
Luck
I mean, so far, not
and
very.
magic are facts of life in the fantasy world you're about to explore. This is determined by rolling 1
1 die plus 6.
and adding 6.
Yes. Okay, not bad. Not bad. I'll take that.
You may also take a magical potion with you to aid you on your quest.
Good.
Each bottle of potion contains 2 measures,
Right.
so can be used twice during an adventure.
Good to know.
You can choose from a potion of skill that restores your skill points to their initial amount,
Okay, quite
a potion
useful.
of strength
Yeah,
that restores your stamina points to their initial amount,
also quite useful.
or a potion of fortune that not only restores your luck points to their initial amount, but will also increase your initial luck score by 1 each time it's used.
Okay, now, skill I think will be fine. You can lose skill during the adventure, but 12 is pretty good. Fortune, we've got quite high luck. Now, I can't remember if Deathtrap Dungeon has a lot of... I don't like the way he's smiling at me. Has a lot of, like, luck-based because Blood Bones has so many luck-based like death, whereby it's like, test your luck. If you're unlucky, you're fucked. Get out of here. So I'm tempted by the fortune, plus it would +1 to the roll, which would be really, really good. +1 to our luck anyway, which would be really, really good. The other option is, I think we'll probably get provisions, which will allow us to refill our stamina anyway. So I think I'm going to go fortune.
Lastly, before you begin your quest, you are given enough provisions for 10 meals.
Yeah, good.
When you eat a meal, your stamina score will increase by 4 points.
Right.
But don't forget, your stamina can never exceed the initial amounts you've just set.
So effectively, we've got 40 extra hit points.
You have a long way to go.
Should we need it.
So use your provisions wisely.
I will, Eddie, I will. Have no fear. You can trust me.
Now it is your turn to salute the crowd. Holding your violet scarf aloft, you take one final deep breath of cool, fresh air before turning to pass between a stone-pillared gateway into Succumvit's corridors of power to face unknown perils on the walk through the mighty Baron's Deathtrap Dungeon. The clamour of the excited spectators gradually fades behind you as you venture deep into the gloom of the cavern. Large crystals hang from the tunnel roof at 20-metre intervals, radiating just enough soft light for you to see your way. As your eyes gradually become accustomed to the near darkness, you begin to see movement all around. Spiders and beetles crawling up and down the chiselled walls disappear quickly into cracks and crevices as they sense your approach.
That sounds horrible.
Rats and mice scurry along the floor ahead of you. Droplets of water drip into small pools with an eerie plopping sound which echoes down the tunnel.
Sounds like a health and safety nightmare.
The air is cold, moist, and dank. After walking slowly along the tunnel for about 5 minutes, you arrive at a stone table standing against the wall to your left. On it, there are 6 boxes, one of which has your name painted on its lid.
Okay. So, do I open the box with my name on it, or do I suspect that it's probably filled with scorpions, or spider scorpions, or scorpions that fire spiders out of their mouths? Fuck it. Let's open the box.
The lid of the box lifts off easily, and inside you find 2 gold pieces and a note written on a small piece of parchment addressed to you. After placing the gold in your pocket,
I'll try not to spend
you
it all in
read the
one place.
message, which says, "Well done.
Thanks.
At least you had the sense to stop and take advantage of the token aid given to you.
Now, scorpions.
Now I can advise you that you will need to find and use several items if you hope to pass triumphantly through my Deathtrap Dungeon. Signed, Succumvit."
Oh, yes.
Memorizing the advice on the note, you tear it into tiny pieces and continue north along the tunnel, where you come to a junction. A white arrow painted on one wall points west. On the floor, you can see wet footprints made by those who entered before you. It's hard to be sure, but it looks as though 3 of them followed the direction of the arrow, while one decided to go east.
So, I've not played this very far, just past the intro, basically. However, I have played Deathtrap Dungeon quite a bit, although it was 25 years ago, so it's still a little bit hazy, but I do remember that you had to, I think it was, yeah, because like, I just noticed over here, there's these jewels. So this is the items, so throughout the dungeon are jewels, and you need them for something at the end, but I can't entirely remember why or what. it's all a bit hazy. So we've also got weapons, goods. We've got a backpack, items, goods. We've got the items. We've got a map as well. So that's save points, so you can go back and go back if you need to. Now, I am not going to follow everyone else. Wake up, sheeple. Don't walk the way it tells you to go. We're going to go east instead.
Ahead, you can see a large obstruction on the tunnel floor.
Okay.
Although it is too dark to make out exactly what it is, the wet, eastbound footprints you have been following carry on towards the obstruction.
All right. Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Let's continue on.
You see that the obstruction is a large, brown, boulder-like object.
Boulder-like.
You touch it with your hand and are surprised to find that it is soft and spongy.
Oh, wait, shit. This is like, I think it's like a puffball mushroom. I think if we slice it open, we take some stamina damage. Or is it if we climb over it and it bursts? I can't remember. Fuck it, climb over it.
You clamber onto the soft boulder, half expecting to be engulfed by it at any moment. Getting over it is difficult, as your limbs sink into its soft casing, but eventually you manage to struggle over it, relieved to be back on firm ground. You press on east, where the tunnel makes a turn to the left and heads north for as far as you can see. The footprints you are following start to peter out as the tunnel becomes gradually drier. Soon, you are beyond the dripping roof and the pools on the floor. You notice the air becoming hotter, and you find yourself panting, even though you are walking quite slowly. In a small recess on the left-hand wall, you see a section of bamboo standing on its end. Lifting it down, you see it is filled with a clear liquid. Your throat is painfully dry, and you feel a little dizzy from the heat in the tunnel.
Oh, look at those special effects. Holy shit. So obviously they spent all the money on getting Eddie. Okay, so they make it warm and then offer you a nice cool drink, which turns out to be acid, filled with scorpions. Acid scorpions. I just get this feeling that I should drink it. Fuck it, drink it. Drink the stuff.
The water in the bamboo pipe is welcomely refreshing and adds 1 stamina point. It also contains a magical solution, which will enable you to be exposed to melting point temperatures without harm. Discarding the bamboo, you start off north again, in good spirits. You find yourself dripping with sweat as the temperature continues to rise. As you struggle on, the heat intensifies until it becomes so unbearable that you feel yourself begin to pass out. Although the temperature in the tunnel is higher than you could normally tolerate, the liquid from the bamboo pipe keeps you alive, and mercifully, after a few moments, the temperature drops rapidly and soon feels almost cool again.
I bet we would have died.
On the left-hand side of the tunnel is a closed door. It has a small iron plate in it, which looks like it might slide open.
Yeah, so I suspect, had we not drunk that, there was something in my head that went, yeah, I think you should drink that. And I suspect that had we not, that would have been a death. Like, just gone. Let us, like, there's nothing to say that you... I guess it makes sense. It's hot. Why not have a drink, right? I guess that kind of makes sense. But equally, it could be, oh, it turns out it's a bad thing, and actually you drop dead. So it's just that kind of book. It's just a bastard. Let's slide the iron plates.
The small plate slides open easily, and you find yourself peering into a room with a deep pit in the floor behind the door. On the opposite wall, there is a coil of rope hanging on one of 2 iron hooks.
I mean, rope's always useful, right? You can't go into a dungeon without rope. That's just mental. Let's jump over the pit and take the rope. Is there something in the pit?
The door swings open into the room, and you step back and jump over the pit.
Which is filled with scorpions.
You put the rope in your backpack and jump back over the pit to leave the room.
Turns out the rope is made of scorpions.
And head north.
Which is made of scorpions.
Ahead, you see that the tunnel turns sharply to the left. You turn a corner and almost bump straight into 2 fierce-looking orcs, armed with morning stars and wearing leather armor. You are totally unprepared for them and struggle to ready your weapons. During your adventure,
oh God,
you'll enter into combat a number of times, and the further you go, the tougher your opponents will be. Combat takes place over several rounds.
So earnest, isn't it? Right, I know all this, so I can just click this button to jump ahead.
And as you draw your sword, one of them swings its morning star at you, which sinks agonizingly into your left thigh, costing you 3 stamina points.
Ow!
You stagger backwards, but manage to regain your balance in time to defend yourself. Fortunately, the tunnel is too narrow for both orcs to attack you at once, so you fight them, one at a time.
Okay, so basically, this is the enemy skill. We've got some time to eat provisions, but it's fine. So we'll roll 4 dice. The red one's the enemies, the white ones are us. We add the result, and
you're
if we
able
win,
to strike hard,
we knock out 2 of their health. So we can test our luck. That'll increase the damage we do, but we're just going to keep going because, to be honest, I don't think this should be particularly difficult, unless they get a really, really good roll.
Your shield protects you from the orc's frenzied attack, while you're able to hack at its leg.
This should be fairly straightforward.
You raise your sword to parry the attack, and are able to kick the orc hard in the stomach.
The first orc slumps lifeless to the floor, so you turn your attention to the other.
Right, well, this guy's got slightly more skill but less health, which is often the way whenever you face multiple opponents.
The orc is strong but slow, and you're able to strike hard with your sword.
So we literally just need to hit him once more and we'll have defeated them both. To be honest, with this high skill, this kind of encounter is... Oh, God.
You parry, but your enemy is strong, and you crack your head on the floor as it knocks you to the ground.
Guy got a lucky roll. Jeez, snake eyes. Oh, really?
Your shield protects you from the orc's frenzied attack.
That was close.
While you're able to hack at its leg.
Skill isn't the be-all and end-all.
Inside one of the orc's pockets, you find 1 gold piece.
Oh, wow.
And a hollow wooden tube. You put your findings in your backpack and set off west.
Wow, wooden tube.
As you walk along, droplets of water again start falling from the tunnel ceiling. Heading west, you see wet footprints made by the same boots that you followed earlier. They lead to a closed iron door in the right-hand wall of the tunnel, but do not seem to go any further.
Okay, well, we'll open the iron door, may as well.
The door opens into a large chamber.
Uh-huh.
Where you are shocked to see one of your rivals who has obviously met a sudden gory death.
Well, it certainly looks like he got the point.
It is one of the barbarians, and he is impaled on several long iron spikes that are fixed to a frame which has sprung out of the floor.
He's got one in his bottom.
A lot of debris litters the floor.
There's one in his bottom.
Concealing a hidden tripwire which he must have stepped on, releasing the spiked frame. In the far wall is an alcove in which you can see a silver goblet standing on a small wooden table.
I mean... Okay, let's search the barbarian in his bottom spike.
The pouch on the barbarian's belt is empty,
Oh,
apart from some strange-looking dried meat wrapped
okay.
in a cloth.
Right. Do I want to eat dried meats I find on a corpse of a barbarian? I mean, do I know what it is? It could literally be anything. Do barbarians get circumcised? Is it a souvenir? I don't know. I mean, I've opened, drunk, and eaten everything else, so sure.
The meat contains herbs which increase your strength,
Good.
adding 3 to your stamina score.
All right, well, that's nice. That's nice. It didn't tell me what it was, but I guess we're just not going to... We're just not worried about that. We're just going to blitz right over that. Never mind. Let's walk over to the alcove.
You walk slowly over to the alcove,
Probably still wondering
carefully
what that meat
checking
was.
the floor for any more hidden traps. You see that the goblet contains a sparkling red liquid.
Drink the liquid? I mean, I've eaten barbarian mystery meat. Why not wash it down with some nondescript red stuff? Sure, why not?
As you lift the goblet, it releases a sprung catch, and a dart shoots out of the wooden table leg.
Classic.
This will be a test of your luck. We'll roll 2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than your current luck score, you have been lucky. But if the roll is higher than your luck score, then your luck isn't in.
So as long as we don't roll 12, we're fine.
But you have no time to react before the dart thuds into your thigh,
Are you shitting me?
costing you 2 precious stamina points. With nothing left to do here, you leave the chamber to continue
Fucking hell.
west.
Can't I even just take the...
The
right, never mind.
passage soon leads to a junction
I bet I need that.
where you notice more footprints on the floor,
Uh-huh.
possibly as many as 3 pairs,
Oh.
heading north from the south passage. You decide to follow them to where the passage opens out into a wide cavern, which is darker but much drier. Ahead, you see the footprints gradually fade, then disappear. There is a large idol in the center of the cavern that must be 6 meters high. In its head are jeweled eyes, each as big as your fist. On either side of the idol stand 2 giant stuffed, bird-like creatures.
Now, I know we need the jewels, so we obviously want to climb the idol to take the jewels. That just makes sense, doesn't it?
The idol is very smooth and will be difficult to climb, but the rope you found earlier will help here.
Ah, perfect.
You make it into a lasso. You whirl the rope above your head and throw it up at the idol, smiling happily as it lands around its neck. You then tighten the noose and start to climb, hauling yourself up the rope. You are soon at the top of the idol, sitting on the bridge of its nose and holding on to the rope. You draw your sword and wonder which jeweled eye to prize out first.
The right eye?
You try to force the point of your sword under the emerald eye. Much to your surprise, the emerald shatters on contact,
Oh.
releasing a jet of poisonous gas straight
What?
into your face.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
The gas knocks you out, and you release the rope, bouncing down the idol and crashing onto the stone floor. Your adventure ends
Oh, Eddie!
here.
No! For fuck's sake. Fucking hell. Oh, okay, well... I mean, sure. I guess if we'd gone west, then we would have come up here missing the rope. So the rope was important. We can just reload, and I'm going to. I really like Deathtrap Dungeon, so I'm going to keep at it. There will be more episodes of this, because I really enjoy it. But I think we're going to have to leave it there. Obviously, we should have picked the left eye. obviously. I'll make a mental note about that. But that is going to have to wait until next time. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.